from Psalm 100. Make a joyful shout to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. He is God. It is he who made us and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations.
On this your very special day, this is a message of Christian living from Colossians 3. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievance you may have with one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, and over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace. Be thankful that the word of Christ dwell in you richly, as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, and as you sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him.
There is no other commandment greater than this.
To you this morning. Also, through you, want to talk to all who are here today. Weddings are one of those occasions in our lives when all of the romantic images start to come and bubble out. All of those nice, warm, fuzzy feelings about love and romance are all part of weddings. We need to remind ourselves that if we're not careful, we paint an unrealistic picture of what life is really all about. Because despite the movies and despite all of the nice things on television and the romance books and comics, the reality is that for all of us, there are times in our lives when our relationships are strong, but there are also times when we run into difficulties. Yet, despite that, as you've heard the scriptures read to you this morning, I'm sure that the recurring theme that you've heard is that our homes and our lives should be centred on love. Paul, writing to the Church of Corinth, this is what I think is the most definitive statement about love. Let me read you the relevant verses out of 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient and love is kind. Love is not envious, boastful, or arrogant, or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable, nor resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Like never end. Now, in that list are the characteristics of love. But if you think about it, that list of Paul's is a list which most of us are going to find very difficult to maintain in their entirety. But nevertheless, love is something that we do and we work at. The home should be a place where love is spoken. I just want to work through that list quickly in the light of the way in which families work. Take that first statement, that love is patient. It's easy for us to be patient when things are going well in the family. But things don't always go well. And maybe being patient means that we need to think about the slower members of the family, particularly those who are slow when we're busy trying to get out on time. You see, it's easy sometimes to be patient, but at other times it's quite difficult. Paul said, love is kind. But there are times in our relationships where we get frustrated and things aren't quite the way we are, and we make those cutting remarks. Maybe Paul is saying to us, hey, we need to think about the way in which we relate to each other, and we need to be careful about what we say, so that it's kindness that is love, rather than a sense of frustration. Paul says that love is not jealous. That might bring an end to many a family conflict. I guess it could also mean that we can learn a new way of dealing with each other's success. Love is not boastful, said Paul. I don't know whether those who come to ceremonial reading, particularly those who are mums, have seen the syndrome where when mothers get together, and I guess also dads, tempted to talk about what our child can do. And we feel proud about it. But often, it means that we are seeing our child as being better than somebody else's. Maybe what we need to do is to avoid putting down other people. Love is not arrogant. The challenge is to deal with each other with integrity. Love does not insist on its own way. Family arguments operate on the basis that I am right and you are wrong. It's difficult to have an argument when you accept that the other person is right and you are wrong. Paul says that love is not irritable. Maybe that means that when something doesn't quite go right and it gets under your skin, rather than speaking up, one needs to accept that really, is it that important to raise that particular issue? It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but in what is right. Maybe that's a challenge to us, to stop criticising each other and to start complimenting each other and encouraging each other. Love bears all things. Maybe that's a challenge for us to learn not always to insist on having it our way. Maybe looking to see if our partner's way is a better way of doing it. Love believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all good. The great challenge of a marriage relationship is not to give up on each other. God calls us into union through the good times and the not so good times. I'm sure that all of the people here would want to wish that your good times far outweigh your not so good times. But again, we would be unrealistic if we didn't say, yes, there will be times when you find things difficult. We would want to say to you, we want to assure you that here we are today enjoying the good times, but you can rely on us to be here when things are not so good. But above all, love never ends. Love never ends. I'm sure that many of us have heard of that terrible word called divorce. It's a great tragedy in our society. But those who experience that sad time in their life, a difficult time in their life, perhaps would be able to find it much easier if they looked for love in that time of difficulty, rather than seeking to express it. Indeed, love is the thing that undergirds, energises and pushes forward our relationship with each other and our relationship with our family and our broader group of friends. But remember, if you are searching for the model of what love is, then you can look no further than Jesus Christ, your Lord and your Saviour. There is the model. I can offer no better example than him. His love meant that he gave his life for you, Warwick, for you, Naomi, for me, and for all of us, so that we should be given. All of us would want to wish the two of you God's richest blessing. Pray that God will continue to guide you, to challenge you, and to stimulate you in your lives together, and in your life as part of the community and the family of faith. God bless you both. I'm going to sing the hymn from Australian people, Love Divine, or Love Self.